Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Within Warzone right now, obviously, we're still getting used to the general meta and trying to figure out what guns are the absolute best of the best, what ones we're probably going to avoid for the time being. And while we've started to see new stats and new data come out regarding the Warzone meta, we've actually been able to find a handful of ridiculously fast TTK weapons. Now, in certain instances in game, the time to kill does already feel very fast, especially like for close range and whatnot, but some weapons here absolutely stand out like crazy. And today we're breaking down the top 5 fastest or best TTK options in the game right now. As we get into the setups, if you enjoy the video, do me a favor, drop a like on it. It would be really appreciated. It always does help the channel grow. And if you're new here or you simply haven't subscribed yet, let's change that, because every single day I got you covered with news, updates, patch notes, meta breakdowns. It's all right here, so feel free to hit that sub button and turn on those post notifications. So initially here we've got the RAM, and we're not going in any specific order here because the ranges and the time to kills do vary a bit depending on where exactly you're fighting. And I should say all the data today is coming from True Game Data. Tony, shout out to him. He's the wizard of Warzone when it comes to stats, and all this information is coming directly from his charts with the combination shot TTK to give us the most accurate information possible. And the RAM absolutely fries for a handful of fights. Basically, if you're using this as sniper support, which this build absolutely could be used as that. If you're using this for mid to long range and trying to get used to the recoil, you could use it there too. We're looking at a 676 millisecond TTK at 30 meters, which is like prime sniper support territory, and no other rifle is really coming close to that in terms of MW3 guns, which is really nice to see. This thing is very, very dominant there. So initially here, I like the Eagle Eye 2.5 times scope. This isn't too zoomed in to be using in like some close range fights, but it would also work in some long range as well. That said, if you prefer to have like a blue dot or, you know, an elo sight for your sniper support, always go for your preference here for optics. I like the 60 round mag even for sniper support, although it's a tad bit slower than 40 just because of how fast the fire rate is here, but you can definitely experiment around with those two and see which one works the best for your play style. I got the heavy support under barrel here, helps out with idle sway, horizontal control, better stability overall. It's only hurting your ADS speed by about 8%, which is not really a huge deal, all things considered. I've got the 45 compensator, the Stir 45 Sky Fury. This helps out a ton with horizontal and vertical, which you definitely need a lot of when it comes to the RAM. There's a lot of horizontal bounce. The recoil pattern's a little bit obnoxious, and that's why in sniper support, obviously, it's going to be a lot easier to use than over range. And lastly, I go for the heavy barrel here. Better control, better velocity, better range extending. That first damage range a bit here is pretty clutch for sure. So this thing will fry. If you want to pair this with a cat, if you want to even pair this with a sub for resurgence gameplay, however you want to build this thing out for, it's going to be a great choice. Following that, we've got the Bruen, one of my favorite guns in the game right now. It feels just like it's MW 2019 again with this thing, and it actually fries. Basically, this thing just has a constant decrease of TTK and no severe super harsh drop-offs like a lot of other guns have, which means at 74 meters, we're looking at an 848 millisecond TTK, which is wildly impressive for that range. So many other guns are already above a second at that range, and you're doing so with this, which is low recoil and consistent good velocity, so it's going to feel great for mid to long range based fights. Now, I'm using a reflector here, the elo sight. You can get by with using this for long range really easily in my opinion, but if you wanted to upgrade to the 2.5 times or a different optic, again, feel free to do so. I downgrade to the 60 round mag from 100 because this is like prime Warzone 1 Bruen gameplay here. Fast reload makes it feel more like an assault rifle than an LMG. Truly, I love the feel of that. I've got the choke angled grip. This helps out with horizontal control and movement speed. It only hurts your vertical by a little bit, and that's super easy to counter, of course. I've got the horizon barrel on here. This helps out with overall control and velocities, just making it even more effective. The range extension here, not as important since obviously, like I said, it's basically that steady decline. Then lastly, I go for the Spirit Fire Suppressor. Better control, better velocity, better range as well. That sort of 3-in-1 that works real nice. So this thing absolutely fries. It melts through players over range, and it's super easy to use. So it's checking all the right boxes. Now, surprisingly, that's half behind the face cam for some reason. They could have centered this one more. The TTK Eradicator statistically is sort of an anomaly because it actually fries for an LMG. However, there are some, you know, asterisks here, you could say, because of the change in fire rate with this gun. The first 5 or 7 bullets or whatever fires super fast, and then it slows down some. So if you are able to be super accurate with those first 5 to 7 bullets, whatever the case is with that faster fire rate, that's where this thing truly just obliterates. rates. Now, it's still really good at the slower fire rate, but you get the best TTK out of hitting your first shots when you start shooting, to the point where at 45 meters, we're looking at an 800 millisecond TTK, which is best in class for the LMGs for MW3 options. So that's it's a standout for sure. It does just feel a little bit clunky though, because of the change in fire rate after those first few bullets. As far as the setup goes here, I'm again going for the Spirit Fire suppressor. It's just so good to be able to get control and range and velocity out of a suppressor. The ADS speed con always varies between guns here, but that's not really a huge deal for mid to long range. Choke angled grip here yet again, same deal as before. Same deal with the 2.5 times eagle eye as well. Just such a clean optic, really reminds me of the VOK 3 times. I've also got the core stock on here. This helps out with stability and control, doesn't hurt your ADS speed, and only hurts your sprint speed and your TAC sprint speed, which for an LMG, that's not really what I'm caring about too much, if I'm being honest with you. Then lastly, I go for the combat rear grip. This helps out a ton with general control. It does hurt your idle sway a tad bit, but it's still not going to be enough to drastically, you know, drive this weapon into the ground by any means whatsoever, especially because it's an MW3 gun. So this setup is going to again be really easy to use, pretty versatile, not too heavy and LMG feeling, even with a 75 round drum on there. So definitely a great choice. Hey everyone, real quick, just wanted to give a shout out to my friends over at Control Freak. Funny enough, Control Freak was actually the very first partner I ever had on my channel many years ago, and genuinely all this time later, I'm using Control Freaks every single day. These truly are one of the things that I cannot play without anymore. I'm so used to having the longer sticks on my controllers, but more importantly, the better grip as well. They offer various different designs for what you prefer in terms of your thumbstick style, whether it's domed, concave, mid-rise, high-rise, low-rise. They got plenty of different options. My current loadout for my Control Freaks consists of one Vortex Control Freak and then one of the new Destiny 2 Lightfall Control Freaks. Love the feel of these. If you ever want to get a pair for yourself, throw in code Immortal at checkout. You'll get yourself a nice little discount. All right, now a bit of post-edit Zach here, a bit of new day Zach here. Initially, when this video was supposed to go live was the day last week when they did their first meta update for Warzone, and conveniently enough, the last two spots on this list belong to the MTZ Interceptor in the Bass B. Now, obviously, both of those were nerfed. Still good, but nerfed, so had to jump in here post-edit and update this with some new top TTK options. For instance, the FTAC Recon from MW2. Very difficult weapon to use, but usually high, fast TTK weapons are more difficult to use because they're higher risk, higher reward, right? And the Recon is exactly that. So we're looking at a 711 millisecond TTK at about 44 meters. So I'd say this is more of like a prime resurgence style weapon for sure. But if you're accurate with this thing, like if you were good at the MTZ Interceptor, you're going to be really good with this as well. So for the setup here, of course, 2.5 times eagle eye per usual here. I go for the PSO heavy stock, better idle sway, so stability and whatnot, better control as well. It's only hurt and movement, which is not a core focus of this gun in particular. I got the 15 round extended mag, which is the max, and that's a problem because it just doesn't hold ammo. But if you're accurate with the ammo, you're gonna burn through enemies. If you're not accurate, you're gonna be reloading a lot. Ripper under barrel, obviously, for the better stabilization, better recentering as well when you're spamming. And then I go for the Shadow Strike suppressor. This isn't helping out with control or hurting your ADS speed. That said, you could also go for Spirit Fire suppressor L if you wanted the better control velocity. Like, there's no wrong answer here. That's a good choice. There's some other good ones in here too. Like, for instance, Sonic, if you're not constantly spamming, I'll give you better velocity, some decent range. So you can certainly mess around, but I mean, really any option here is not going to be too bad as long as you're staying off the radar and still able to control it. That's more, you know, based around your personal skill level there. Then lastly here, another pretty surprising choice is the MCW 6.8 marksman rifle. So this actually has an 811 millisecond TTK at about 53 meters. Again, that prime mid-range. And once more, if you were previously accurate with the Interceptor or you're good with semi-auto guns, this is a phenomenal choice too. This one's got a much better fire rate cap, so you can really spam this thing sort of FAL-like back from MW 2019. Use it in the mid-range, use it close range, potentially long range. This is more so built for mid to long range ideally, but it's definitely got that versatility factor going for it. Surprise, surprise, 2.5 times eagle eye. I go for the 30 round mag just because semi-auto, you know, you're kind of choosing your own fire rate there. You don't have to burn through ammo if you don't want to, but in theory, you could jump up to 60 if you really wanted to. Like, there's not really a wrong answer here. It just depends on how slow you want your ADS and reload to be. Olay laser, keep it a little bit snappier. I like lasers on some weapons like this that could use a little bit of an ADS boost. Ripper on her barrel, better stabilization, recentering yet again. And then once more, I got the Spirit Fire Suppressor on here, better velocity, better control, better range, just optimizing it for where we're going to be using it the most in those mid to long range engagements. But overall, definitely some surprising options on this list for sure, but some nice variety as well. So if you're looking for guns that just absolutely melt, any on the list here today will do so, pending your ability to consistently land shots back to back to back. That being said, that's going to wrap things up for this one. If you enjoyed the video or if you found it helpful, do me a favor, drop a like on it. And if you're new here, you want to guarantee that every single day you're up to date with all things going on in COD, be sure to hit that subscribe button on your way out. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.